Hi, I am Brooks, a multifarious wizard, and I'm here to kind of show what my experience is when I am channeling information um, and how I create a, a flow for spirit. So, for a little background, I used to do regular readings and host spaces where people could practice readings and I would share tips. And then things happened and I stopped. So, as I'm getting back into it, I wanted to document the process. And so here we are. So, I believe that every person has intuitive abilities and that it takes time to sit with oneself and absorb and acknowledge the patterns and signs and symbols that you receive to understand how you are receiving information from spirit. And sometimes you will go through seasons where you'll focus on one area or one clair. And then you'll go through another season and it'll be completely different. At least that is my experience. I want to always put that as a caveat that your experience may be very different from mine. And so always keep that in mind whenever someone is giving you advice. So today I am getting started by I just showered, got ready, cleared my energy in the shower. For me, that is my cleansing practice. And then for grounding, I will take some deep breaths. And as I take these deep breaths, I am imagining roots going from the bottom of my feet and connecting me to the earth's energy. So, this is grounding my energy in my body and also into the earth. And as I am doing this, I also am imagining my head opening up for messages from spirit, loved ones, guides, ancestors who are aligned with my moral compass, and that my team is protecting me so that I can be safe in this time while channeling this message. So I brought out my Oracle deck and I intended to use that, but already I feel a message coming through intuitively. It's like a dialogue just going in my ear almost, or like mind's eye ear, because it isn't actually external, it's internal. As I'm recording this message, there is a hummingbird outside of my window. That never happens. And so the message is coming through like as if I'm just talking to somebody. And this is how spirit communicates through me when I have an intention like this to just like receive a message. If I'm doing mediumship, that is different, and I will receive um, signs and symbols that are evidence showing me who I am talking to and also who I am delivering the message to too. It depends. Okay, so the message here is growth is not linear. We are ever evolving beings. Change is imminent. Success and flow go hand in hand. And with that, I feel this breathless energy in my chest, which I associate with anxiety, with a little bit of fear. Like, what do you mean I have to trust? It can be very hard to trust yourself and trust your own energy to guide you when you have been following an external source for wisdom and guidance throughout your life. It takes time to slow down and listen to what you actually want, what you actually need, and see the direction that you are meant to go. A lot of times, when we are learning to trust our own intuition, we will have these signs and even pains that come up in our body, and pay attention to what those are. Like before, when I mentioned the like fluttering and trouble breathing because of anxiety, labored breathing type of thing, notice things like that. Or when you have to make a decision, where do you feel that? Sometimes for myself, when I am doing something different, I will think about it and I will get this fear response that I'll feel in my stomach, in my gut. And I'll be like, ooh, that's different than I've done before. That's kind of scary. And so, what I have learned to do is take a deep breath and just sit with that. And I imagine breathing in a white light that kind of like swirls into my solar plexus, stomach area. And then I exhale that anxiety, that worry, that stress. And I ask my body, like, where is that coming from? And a lot of times it is that fear of the unknown or a lack of trust in one's own ability to do the thing that you really want to do. For myself, I have felt guided to make videos here on YouTube and I have avoided it. It's felt very scary. And even today, I am showing up with wet hair and I'm just pushing through it because you know what? This is me. And I felt called to do this thing. And so I am here and I am okay. I am safe. If one person sees this, or 100 people sees this, I am still going to be safe. And you know, this is part of the message too, is that how you talk to yourself through the difficult things is really important. Like when you're going through something challenging, you have to be able to remind yourself with that gentle parenting voice of, you can do this. I know you're scared. I acknowledge that you are afraid, but you can do this. And if a problem comes up, I trust in your ability to make it through, to figure out a solution to that problem. Because a lot of times we will catastrophize things in our head and make them to be something bigger than they really are, instead of seeing it for what it is it's a new experience. You're exploring a new territory. And it's okay to have that moment of shock, of initial anxiety, but push through it. Because when you are starting something new, you are on this fool's journey. And with the Fool card, he is 1 foot on the edge of a cliff and 1 foot off. And he's looking up into the sky and smiling. And it's like this trust fall that, you know what? I'm going to take this leap. I'm going to take this chance and trust in myself. Part of it is a little naive, but that is part of the process. That is part of the process of starting something new and allowing yourself to be a beginner, allowing yourself to start at that fool level and learn to sit in the discomfort of not being perfect, not knowing everything. Because when you get those feelings in your stomach or in your body, a lot of times that is your anxiety speaking rather than your intuition. Where your intuition, when it's warning you of something, it will usually be like a quiet knowing, like, okay. So off camera, I burped, which is my signal of releasing that energy. And then I sat for a while and was waiting for more information to come, and it was like, well, that's it. And so when you are giving readings for yourself and other people, sometimes they are going to be brief. Sometimes there's not going to be a lot of information to give. And like with my intention being to share my experience, to talk through it and explain how I receive information so that you can notice, I pick up this, or when I receive information, it's this way. I want you to learn to listen to yourself. And I find that for myself, I learn by hearing how other people doing things and then incorporating different practices on my own, testing different things out so that I know how I receive messages, how I get clarity, or how I move energy. And I will say too that if I were reading for a client in person, and I got capped off with a certain amount of information and I knew that I was reading for 45 minutes, I would ask for more information. Um, I would sit for a while and ask for more clarity or guidance. Um, but usually, when I meet with a client, I will intuitively know what needs to be brought up, and I'll like write down like the things that come up before I meet with someone. Because it's funny when you set the intention of sharing information with another person, especially if you like book an appointment, um, spirit guides, ancestors, loved ones will come through and be like, "Hello, I am here to talk to you now." When I did practice circles, I remember that night I set the intention of going to this practice circle, and I was outside using the snowblower, and this man came to me, and I'm like, "Hello, hi." And sure enough, it happened to be a loved one of somebody that I shared messages with that night. And so, in moments like that, I have to tell that spirit that I see you, I acknowledge you, but right now I am off the clock and please come back later. Because as a psychic, it is important to have those boundaries. So now, as I am preparing to end the channel and end this video, what I do to close my readings is I imagine a waterfall going over from my head to my toes, washing away my energy, cleansing me, and I give thanks and gratitude towards my team who shared messages with me today. And these things are my ritual in letting my team know, okay, I am done right now, so please stop. Because as a developing psychic or medium, intuitive, whatever you call yourself, you will learn that to constantly be open and receiving information is a lot. So having these energetic and spiritual boundaries are very important. Well, thank you so much for being here today and watching this video on an introduction to psychic development, an explanation of how to receive psychic information. And I hope to see you on my next video.